What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part, I want to say 11 or something along those lines of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Blood Dragons Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, it was an episode of major fights, or at the very least, very big battles as we took out Balthazar Gelt and 2 additional stacks of Yumis running around Fyldorf, though I guess we are near their territory, and then Abarash was able to take down another of the worthy foes, a Black Ark with a ton of enemies. We in fact left the left the episode off with thinking that it might be a good idea to attack another one of the worthy foes, or at the very least do another quest battle with Abarash before ending said turn. His army is not hurt after all, and it would be wasteful not to take advantage of that, in my opinion. Before we get started though, a couple things. First of all, yes, we did reach an engagement threshold, and yes, this episode will be an hour long, and yes, the offer still stands. 400 likes and 50 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well. Another thing, there was a question in the comments of, I want to say, the previous episode about what the goal for the campaign is. As I mentioned before, the main thing is the quest battles, as this is sort of closer to a scenario campaign rather than a just sandbox conquest campaign. A, I want to try out all the stuff. B, we got to complete all the quests, and C, this is the long campaign victory objective. So we got to loot, occupy, and sack whatever 75 settlements. We got to unlock the Ordo Draconis Greatly Feared upgrade in the Ordo's panel, though that should be acquired, I would say, very, very soon within the next couple of episodes, as we just need the requisite blood kisses. We unlock and win 3 library battles, but we're obviously going to make it a goal to unlock them all. Unlocks and win 6 worthy foe battles, similar thing there, we want to win them all, and then complete the final worthy foe battle. So there is a final battle available in this campaign, and that is what we will be headed towards. It's always great to have a final battle available for the final episode. Now, I think I forgot to name some units last episode, so we're going to name a few right now. The question... yeah, we're going to name a few here. This is going to be our monstrous and thrall army. I was going to name the thralls here, but they're sadly not ready this turn. You know what? It'll probably be easier to thus name stuff next turn. Hopefully I don't forget, but for now, it'll allow us to jump into another battle with Abarash, and who could say no to that? Alrighty, so what we're going to do is, I guess, just take the next one on the list, a Dark Land Orc Wanders. We are in Orky territory after all, and we are approaching the Dark Lands with Abarash. So let's do this one. What do we have here? Well, they say he's strong, but how strong? Can't rightly say, my lord, but judging by the number of wyverns circling his camp, I'd say he's worthy enough. And this gives us Warrior Ascendant gear, the twins. I take it that's a dual weapon? A couple of swords, maybe? I'd like to see that, see what kind of stats that gives us, if that's in fact what it is, but I guess we're about to find out. Teleport, and away you go again, Abarash. And what do we have here in terms of reinforcements? Some trolls and a Ragnarok. A bunch of black orcs are going to be the main issue here, but it doesn't look like it'll be all that problematic, or it won't cause too much of a problem, though there may be more reinforcements than the game is letting on here, as that's happened many a time before. That said, I believe this was the first worthy foe battle active, so it would make sense for it to be on the easier side, but once again, we're gonna have to see. Go.
True, the green-skinned warriors and their wyverns lack sophistication. Their raw strength and brutality make up for that twice over. Though they spurn strategy and shun even basic combined troop movements, the savagery in their attacks brings me an exhilaration that very few can hope to match. Their mounts may not be dragons, but their ferocity cannot be understated. Ride forth, my children. Test thy skill against the green tides.
Alrighty, away we go. Been waiting to get into this one for a while now, and let's take a look at that weapon of Aberrash's. Oh, I guess there's, it's a... Can't tell if there's something wrong with it. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there was a little bit of an issue with the texture as the battle started. Oh, it might depend on the angle or something. Huh, interesting. Probably why we couldn't see it during the... well, not so much the loading, but the hero screen, as it were. Anyway, it looks to be a similar weapon to the weapon of the, I was about to say Abyssal Revenant, but the Ordo Profundo guys, although, wait, is it double-edged? Or does it have the one? I can't tell if it's supposed to be floating like that or not. I think maybe it is, maybe it isn't. At the very end of the day, it doesn't really matter all that much. And what does matter is how effective it is, and you got to love that sadistic snare. Looks like Aberrash has nearly brought the Black Orc Shaman down, but in the meantime, we've got the rest of our troops moving in. Fairly simple. Our Thrall Knights, our Adept Knights, are moving around on the flanks. The main idea is to have them hit the enemy Error Boys, and the Disciples of the Path Knights are going to hit the enemy Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins on both flanks, while our main line holds off the enemy infantry. This is probably going to be a fairly bad matchup for the Boar Boys, as they are fragile at the best of times, and against the Disciples of the Path they probably don't stand too much of a chance. Gonna try our best to quickly destroy them here, and then head out to destroy the Rogue, or Debiggin, and all the Rogue Idols. Alright, well, it looks like that Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggin unit is nearly dead, and the rest of our troops have engaged the enemy. Yes, we do have the aquatic trait on our depth guard, so they'll be a little bit more powerful here. And gotta love the way that depth guard units sort of leap up with their halberds, making their weapon attacks look a little bit different than standard halberd units, and that's gotta be real effective. It's a lot of mass and power behind a halberd coming down on you like that. Alright, and the rest of the line is engaged. Aberrash has moved in and is going after one of the Rogue Idols, whereas the other one is being attacked by the Phantoms of the First Keep. Unfortunately for us, the Rogue Idols have managed to kill off a few of our vampiric units, and we're going to have to try to bring them back up. But this is why we diverted Aberrash to the Biggins, or the Rogue Idols, rather. Not Debiggin in particular, though, as Debiggin in particular will be brought down instead by our Disciples of the Path now that they're done with those Boar Boys. We have managed to keep Debiggin distracted so it couldn't use its range units by summoning a blob of zombies on top of it with our Bloodkin Aspirant. In addition to that, it looks like enemy reinforcements arrive, a pair of Arachnaroks, Lava Arachnarok Spider plus the Gabo Great Shaman riding an Arachnarok, and a bunch of Trolls as well. Bunch of River Trolls, I see, which are going to make use of that aquatic trait that they have as well. But we've got our own aquatic units, and they're anti-large, unlike the enemy. The Biggins are facing off against the Thralls on the flanks, which is a fairly even, I think, matchup, at least from what we've seen in the past, whereas the Black Orcs are in the center facing off against our elites, and it's Great Axes versus Glaives and Great Swords on our side. And I don't think the Black Orcs are going to get the best of this particular contest. Aberrash has nearly brought down the first of the Rogue Idols as well. He's in here somewhere. There he is. And you're about to crumble, I'm sure. 300 HP remaining, one more hit, and down you shall go. Alright, Rogue Idol 1 has collapsed, the other one has about half HP remaining. The Disciples of the Path have surrounded it and are going to hopefully bring it down. I do believe it does manage to kill one. I don't know whether it's now or whether it already has and we brought it back up via healing. But they do seem to be pretty effective at this sort of thing, which is great. I'm definitely going to make sure, oh, it just brought one down. Make sure we make good use of that. Anyway, it looks like the second rogue idol has collapsed, as that looks like a little bit too much rock for a single one. And here come the Arachnaroks. The Goblin Great Shaman gets stopped in its tracks by Abarash. And obviously, it's even with an Arachnarok, a Gobbo Great Shaman has no chance here. Alright, whack away at that thing, and it's already down to half HP, and the battle will soon, by the looks of it, be ours. The Phantoms of the First Keep in combination with the Disciples of the Path have surrounded, or at the very least are badly damaging the enemy Arachnarok, with a little bit of help from those Aquatic Depth Guard with their anti-large halberds. I'm glad we got those Depth Guard in this army, since we haven't had too much chance yet to use those Ordo Profundum units. But that's okay, we're getting there. Alright, bringing down the trolls now. Some of the Disciples of the Path have rejoined the fray. Looks like the big and rogue idol has fallen, and now it's just a matter of bringing down the trolls and the spider. It looks like it's still attacking, so while the trolls may be routing, that's due to their horrendous leadership. And it looks like the enemy lord is running as well, and Abarash will run him down. And just a matter of taking down the spider, and it looks like the second eye looked away, the Lava Arachnarok had dropped. Too bad there isn't like a steam effect from Lava Arachnaroks walking through watery areas. As that might be neat. And it looks like some of the Spider Riders were still in the fray, but moving into piles of Blood Knights as well as the halberd-wielding Depth Guard in the water. Didn't seem like it was planned out too well. Anyway, with that, the battle is ours. Looks like we... And, damn, I was hoping to see the animation, the death animation of this Arachnarok, but it's okay. We'll encounter plenty of Arachnaroks, I'm sure, through the course of the campaign. Nice fight. Alright, very nice indeed. I did like the ability to use that sadistic snare with Abarash. The fact that enemies keep trying to run from him is otherwise quite annoying, and that way he can stop them in their tracks. In addition to that, we got tons and tons of damage on some of our disciples of the path, and generally speaking, our front line elite units 16, 10, 13, 11, and 13k. On these 5, which are, sort of full-fledged vampire units which hold the main line, while all the thralls are just learning still. I like how Abarash's army is sort of acting as a training ground. He gets a few thralls, he gives them some levels, and then he sends them out into the world to learn their skills for themselves. Yeah, so it works. And in addition to that, I did like the work by the rogue idols, which managed to kill off a few of the vampires. Several of these kills were, in fact, units of the Disciples of the Path, which were trying to focus them down, as well as other elite vampire units, but we were able to bring all but 10 of them back up with heals, so there is that. We're going to take the money, because we're going to need to spend a ton of money shortly. Mossy Scales for Walach. I forget what he was using before. It was the Trickster's Helm, was it not? We really needed that Valor as well. A little bit of money. That Brew War's Instincts is up as well, and then we got that new Warrior Ascendant gear, which I'm curious about. What is it? It's another two-handed weapon. Alright, so it gives him access to Storm of the Night, but he loses 20% ward save for it. Attacks cause Discourage, which, frankly, I don't think Abarash would want, mostly because Discourage is going to force an enemy to rout faster, and he'd prefer them to fight to the end to prove their worth. Otherwise, I think that these things are weaker, generally speaking. Oh, we can see them, though, or at least partially. Similar sort of weapon loadout to... If this is in fact a spear that we're seeing here, similar sort of load, or glaive possibly, can't quite tell. Similar sort of loadout to the Drakenhof Lords. But in terms of pure stats, the Clarion Call and the Sadistic... Huh. I didn't even see Anima Ignis. Is this an active ability or just happens periodically? I'll have to take another look at that. But anyway, the stats on the Heart Piercer seem to be much better. So we'll keep those. Now, we did get a little bit of martial valor for our trouble, and there's a couple things that we want to do. First of all, we do want to upgrade some of these Blood Dragon vets so that we open up some neophyte slots. And the idea... Okay, yeah, but you know what? Well, let's first move Abarash away. He doesn't really need to heal his army. He does need to get a little bit closer to Anarch, and he can move a little bit further than Rudiger can right now, so I guess we can sort of move them both. Just move them both.
Stretches onward.
Not a big enough deal. And, oh, especially with the Witch Hunters coming, who knows, maybe we'll need to help Anarch out as his army, and just ain't ready yet. Anyway, what I wanted to do is this. We're going to take these Blood Dragon Neophyte Warriors and pop them into Blood Dragon Vets. We'll eventually trade them away, but for now they'll stick around in this army. And then we'll make you into Blood Dragon Vets as well, but we're going to need to increase your cap, which is going to take most of our martial valor. Yeah, it's not like we can upgrade them to anything else anyway, so increase the cap by 1. And then upgrade these guys as well. Start leveling them up if nothing else. And we have 512 left. What I want to do is I want to get every army, every Ordo army, like every Ordo Grand Master army, and there we go, that's the one, sort of up and running fully in terms of having all Ordo units. We're nearly there with Walach Harkon, so we just gotta make sure that we get there. Only 400 to upgrade you, but we'll... I don't know if we want to prioritize that over getting Zack at least a few of them, because right now his army needs a little bit more than what it's got, and he is going to make use of neophytes as well. At least some of them. Not the Blood Dragon vets, just neophytes for him. And I'm not entirely sure whether we'll keep... Well, I mean, these guys are anti-infantry and the Blood Dragon vets are anti-large, so we can use both of them in various armies, and thus we have more unit variety. But anyway, I'd like to get at least a couple for Zack here, so upgrade you. Like so, and we won't have enough valor for the second, but that's okay. I mean, I guess we really wanted to. We could pop Abarash into regular stance and have him fight another quest battle, but I think we'll wait because we don't know what the Witch Hunter threat is, and who knows, what if 4 armies appear here and Abarash's army actually gets heavily damaged? Or best probably not to risk it. Now, we're saving up money. I believe for Anarch's Ordo Templarius headquarters, which is 15 metal and 20k, plus we'll need another 15 and 9 metal, so we'll need 39 metal and 26 money for all this, but it is quite necessary, and we need to head towards the same thing with the Abyssal Revenant, whose army we are getting up and running as well now. And I really want to try it out. Let's hope that we get some decent spawns out of those Witch Hunters. Otherwise, I believe we're good to go. Character initiatives, blah, 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 blah. It's in the turn. Let's fight some more Witch Hunters. Name some names while we're at it as well. Oh, Gorok might attack. I guess we're about to find out. No, he won't because his agent moved, but he did not try to go for the Abyssal Revenant. Well, that's just rude. Oh, well. Now let's see what we're looking at here. Alright, so we got an army here, but it's beside the Awakening, which means that one should stand no chance. Once again, we get money and decent amounts of martial valor. And, hey, unit passive bathed in blood for the Ordo Draconis elites, which is great. We're at 6 out of 8 blood kisses, though I'm still very tempted to prioritize the nomadic dragons. More campaign movement range is always worth our time and effort. And I'm inclined to say, even at the cost of blood kisses, we should probably prioritize that. After it, we're going to go to Unfathomable Growth, because we really need that extra growth for our settlements, as they will give us additional army slots. So there we go. Things at least someone decided, hey, nobody spawned outside of Anarch's army. We've got 1 out here. Alright, for Zacharias, you actually will probably have a decent time here. Looks like Edmund has one outside of his force, and we don't have one here, but that's okay. Our new Drakenhof Templar champion. You're gonna be pretty fun, by the looks of it. And gotta get you to Anarch, though.
As you command.
On the way, sir. Alright. And yeah, we still need to send Anarch here. I guess in Dabarash, you're most likely going to be able to auto-resolve this. So here's what we can do. I mean, I guess this turn we can fight another battle and then transfer. Maybe that's the best way to do it. I mean, technically we could probably win these fights without all these piles of thralls, but they certainly add mass to the blob. In terms of which of these battles is going to be the most worth our time, I would say it's this one, because we have the least amount of units here, and they're the weakest, so I think this is the one that we're going to take. So, away we go. And damn, I was going to send Zach southward, but that's clearly not going to happen while we need to deal with this guy at Nuln. Especially since we need to get more ghosty units in here. And to do that, we need Zach to, well, kill things. Close victory, eh? What do we have here? We have regular handgunners, Pegasus Knights, and Questing Knights. We have limited flyers, which is going to be an issue. Gonna have to be careful about those anti-large Pegasus Knights, but this army doesn't have those Ordo, or not Ordo, I'm thinking Inquisition and Sordo. Those Inquisition kill teams, Inquisitor kill teams, whatever. So at least we're not under threat from those, as they would be able to snipe these guys real quick. Anyway, away we go.
Perfection.
Ooh, that lighting once again looking pretty great with our zombie dragon there. In exciting times once again, seeing this army in action. And on top of that, should we succeed here, we'll be rewarded with another one of these Phantoms of the First Keep units. And just gotta keep knocking out these Witch Hunter armies and getting more of the special units on the field. Lovely. Anyway, towards the enemy army we will march, though we'll peel away with Zacharias in particular and head directly towards the Pegasus Knights, rather than leaving them to do their own thing. They are anti-large, but against one of our lords, I doubt that they're going to stand too much of a chance, even if they do surround him. And if he starts taking too much damage, we can pop an Opal Amulet or something like that. One of the very rare times I bothered to use a Gaze of Nagash, and it does knock out 2 of the enemy Pegasus Riders on the way in, and that looks like that's angered the bunch, and they're headed directly towards the dragon. We'll see how they fare in this particular contest. It looks like the first blow doesn't bring any of them down, but we got more where that came from. There we go, and the second blow brings down 3. Interesting. It looks like, however, we are positioned in such a way that the enemy handgunners are able to fire upon Zach. Which ain't as good. Oh, damn that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units brought down with that one. Looks like their HP is dropping quite a bit. And of course, there's splash damage coming in from our unit as well. In the meantime, while those Pegasus Knights are dropping, Walach Harkon will move towards the enemy line. Gonna pop that Chill Wind. I was hoping to use it to knock some enemies aside and get through to the enemy Witch Hunter General, but alas, it looks like there's not sufficient mass on our hero to get through. Plus, the enemy has Outriders here, and, well, they continue blocking us. Anyway, it looks like the Pegasus Knights are routed and then rallied, but they're so badly damaged we're not really concerned with them anymore. Handgunners firing upon Zacharias, but it looks like he can, well, use that redirection. While the Pegasus Knights and Questing Knights move in back into the fray, though this time against units that are a little bit more susceptible to their damage. Questing Knights refuse to be bogged down in the melee by the looks of it, though the Pegasus Knights perhaps should have chosen a target or a flank that didn't have the Phantoms of the First Keep on it. They may be anti-infantry, but they're great weapons, they're armor-piercing, and they're a very powerful unit, so I'm sure the Pegasus Knights are going to have a bad day. In fact, they are pretty terrified by the looks of it. The rest of our army will move past us. It looks like the elites are having a little bit of a contest on the flanks, but the battle will still be decided in the center. Zach has dropped down on a unit of Outriders, forcing them into melee and preventing them from using those guns of theirs, which is just great. Although I guess they wouldn't be too threatening to him at this point. Alrighty, let's see what we've got left. Not too much in the way of elites of ours on the rightmost flank, and thus this is where the enemy looks to be the healthiest. And not to worry though, we also have our units of Black Knights, limited as they are, charging into the rear of the enemy. And being nice and matchy with the rest of the whites, i.e. the Grave Guard. Alrighty, just now a matter of bringing down the Battle Pilgrims and whatever remains on the rightmost flank. It looks like the men-at-arms with spears will be the first, or polearms I guess, will be the first out of there. And the Battle Pilgrims will follow suit, and the rest of the units look to be shrouding and will shatter. There we go. Very, very nice. Oh wow, those area attacks from the Blood Dragon and Neophytes. They may be Neophytes, but they're, well, they're certainly gonna mince a unit of halberdiers without trouble. Alright, and it looks like we did finally manage to bring down the enemy general as well. And then with that, I'm happy. We are going to give chase, but we'll give chase off screen. Alright, not bad, not bad. We were never going to catch the enemy cav, but that's going to be the dynamic pretty much forever, so that's that. A nice amount of kills on our Blood Dragon Neophytes, massively outdoing those Bloodkin thralls and clearly showing the worth of that particular upgrade. We're going to release the captives, and the army is destroyed, which means, unless I'm mistaken about how this works, you can back here. Well, you're not going to be able to raid, so that's fine. Go here. And yes, by defeating an army with Mikhail's army, well, but that made no sense. That made no sense at all. Nobody quote me on that. Oh man, alright. Real eloquent today. Phantoms of the First Cape Warriors. We get another Phantom unit because we defeated an Inquisitor or Witch Hunter army with Mikhail Harkon's army. And we want to do that with Abarash's army as well, as that will give us more. These zombies and these Black Knights are here just as temporary units, as they will be replaced with ghosties over time, so they can be, well, really anything to this point. Now, Abarash has the same advantage, though I'm tempted to get him to fight a quest fight first and then do that. We should also probably activate the Worthy Foe encounter, but we could fight another Worthy Foe first. Possibly. Let's see what else we've got first. This one might be worth fighting. Edmund's army is still weak and still lacks the other units of elites that we want to get in here, and we just can't afford more Sky Reavers, but it would be nice to see them in action some more, as this will be another tough fight. What do we have here? Oh wait, Anarch, you're gonna move here in a second. Rediger, you're fine. Abyssal Revenant. Now, Walach's army is currently our strongest army, per se, because, well, other than it's Walach instead of Abarash in there, but the army by itself is the strongest. I did want to try the Abyssal Revenant out, though, but I would also like to go to the next turn. We can still try him against Gorok and the massive pile of lizards there. Also, unfortunately, defeating these guys with either of you doesn't give us too much value in terms of getting any additional super units, which is a shame, which means it would be better if they spawned elsewhere. But if we can get the Abyssal Revenant, one of those legendary heroes, that might work out. A specific legendary hero. Anyway, this army is probably not worth fighting because it's right beside our garrison, so we'll probably just backtrack and attack it like this. If I could just, there we go. Like this. And yeah, decisive victory, low casualties with the addition of all these units the enemy has. No chance there. How much did that hurt? Ooh, certainly hurt our Bloodkin Thralls, but they will soon be upgraded as soon as we get the necessary valor. We're gonna take the money because we need to spend, what did I say, 39k? No, 39 metal and a lot of K. Rods of Flaming Death and Talisman of Protection. Now, the Rods of Flaming Death are not useful to us, or at least not useful enough for me to keep them, so we're going to fuse them into another Trickster's Helm. Very useful indeed. As for the Trickster's Helm versus the Mossy Scale, so this gives us a massive 12 melee defense, which is quite valuable on the big ol' Nightbane target, and so is the armor. The question is 10% word save worth the 7 defense? Well, yeah. And 22 armor, and the ability to hex an area with a Tormentor's Sword. You know, we'll keep the Mossy Scales on Walach for now, though I kind of like the idea of all the Ordo Grandmasters having a similar sort of loadout in this regard, at least. But we'll keep this on him for now. I'll think about it. Yeah. Appreciate the Trickster's Helm. We still have to destroy you, though I'm just wondering whether that's worth fighting. We'll upgrade you to a Blood Dragon Neophyte, though. There we go. That will at least not make... If we could just upgrade both, that would make the auto-resolve not constantly kill them off. You know what? Let's have somebody else fight and see if we can't acquire the Valor necessary for it. Edmund, you're going to have a tough fight anyway. The weakest army that we have by far, and an incomplete army at that, so let's challenge you.
Deliver swift death.
Deliver swift death indeed. Those Outriders are going to be annoying. Man, a big gun line and an Inquisition kill squad. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Where units are going to be very slow approaching the enemy line. We're going to have to disable as much of the guns as we can. And not allow the Inquisition kill squads to snipe the Drakenhof Templar Sky Reavers, as they'll be dishing out all the damage for this army. Interesting times, call for interesting measures, go.
For the Ordo Templaris.
Alrighty, here we go. We got that skeletal griffin for Edmund now, which is lovely to see. Still have those Sigmar sort of Sigmarite iconography on it. But if anything, that might make it more terrifying for the enemy. Sigmar certainly didn't offer it, or its rider protection. Anyway, we're going to head on into the enemy, and once again, we now have the Drakenhof Templar Sky Reavers among this army. And I'm excited to put them to use once more. We've already seen them dish out massive damage to the enemy, and I assume this battle is going to go no different. And once again, it's only fair that the Black Knight and Graveguard army gets to fight just as the other army did. And it looks like we're going to get hit very, very hard by something. I'm not entirely sure what that was, whether that was the Inquisition kill squad using some kind of ability. Probably one of these, either explosive volley or frangible silver payload. I don't know. What I do know is that the single volley took about 60% at least HP off our unit of Graveguard, and this unit of Graveguard is now no longer viable. It didn't lose any units, but it's going to take quite a while of healing before it is ready to go. Not to worry, the rest of our units can move in instead. We're going to pop that Storm of the Night on the Witch Hunter Inquisition General, and ignoring the guns, we're going to head directly for him. And who's not ignoring the guns? It's our big bat boys. We're going to drop down on the Inquisition kill squad and just absolutely rip them apart. The very idea of armored Vargeist dropping down on you like this is just so horrible. That's all that's left. Oh my. Well, unfortunate for the enemy, fortunate for us. We're going to summon some zombos to block some enemies off, and we're going to start hitting the enemy Outriders with these Drakenhof Templar Sky Reavers as well, and these guys will drop insanely quickly as well. We've seen our Sky Reavers rip not the Akshina Ambushers, but the Kossovite Dervishes apart, and it looks like the Outriders survive no quicker than they do. The damage dealers are dealing damage. Go figure, Ruinous, go figure. Anyway, looks like the enemy lord is very much in trouble, down to about, I don't know, 20% HP, and we'll have Terrence Gans chase him down and kill him off while Edmund goes to deal with other things. The enemy lord already useless. Now, you've probably been wondering where the Black Knights were this entire time. This time, what I said I would do in the previous time we fought in this particular map, then I didn't do that time, I did this time. All 6 of our Black Knights were deployed here, moved up through the tree line, looped around the enemy army, and are now going to hit them in the back. It's a big old pile of Black Knights here. First one's going to go after that poor enemy unit of handgunners, and the rest will peel away to join their Graveguard companions on the main line. There we go. Run them all down. And hit them in the back. There we go. That's what I like to see. Who needs to rely on the clutch of only elite vampire units? These guys will do, at least for this particular purpose. The bounce power shifts to about 90% in our favor. Our Sky Reavers continue chasing those poor little Outriders around and ripping them apart, though like the Bloodkin Thralls, the issue with the Sky Reavers is that they will go into rampage at the drop of a hat. Definitely have to be careful about that. Especially as they will not attack who you want them to attack, but well, not a big deal, or at least it wasn't a big deal in this particular battle, as the enemy army will rout, and they will rout very, very quickly here. Looks like it all worked out. We were able to destroy the, let's say, the threatening units just so quickly, and then hit the entire battle line in the back with our Black Knights forcing them all to suffer those massive morale shocks. Beautiful. Alright, very nice, very nice. Once again, gotta love that power-up from our monstrous Drakenhof Sky Reavers. And just how much less this army started struggling as soon as we got those guys. Very, very nice indeed. Plus we got our Skeletal Griffin for Edmund now, which I'm sure he appreciates. Probably doesn't have anything on the black coaches of his sister Bathilda, but, you know, nonetheless. And more dissensions. Ooh, yeah, if we could get an allied... vampire somehow and acquire more dissensions, that would be a completely different ballgame. Man, that would be very, very strong. But anyway, for now, I guess we will... Well, I guess we have no choice but releasing captives here. And zero casualties. I mean, obviously it's not actually zero casualties, it's that we got a unit revival, but nonetheless. And a Gambler's Armor. It's no Armor of Fortune, but we'll certainly take it. You could actually fight again if you want to, for example, knock out Boris. We should probably start generating some... we could raise Weissmund. Generating ruins around Middenheim so that we can leave it, essentially. I should also probably get the aspirin building here, but not while we have barely any metal, though. He could get said metal by raising Weissmund. Why not? It will mean not standing around and raiding, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Return to our territory. Come on, come on, come on, keep going a little bit further. Not bad. You can channel, but I just returned to our territory. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Ah, there we go now. I thought he couldn't, but he could. He could. It's been a roller coaster of several seconds. Anyway, Abarash, Anarch, Rudiger, Abyssal Revenant, and Reinhardt. Who are you again? Oh, right, you're this guy. You're still gonna need more Bloodkin. In fact, you're gonna need a lot of Bloodkin, because we're gonna have to turn them all to monsters. And oh, this actually reminded me, we gotta get some names in here. We're actually keeping the Bloodkin in this army, since it buffs Bloodkin, so we're free to name them and keep them that way. Bloodkin-specific names. The Tattered Banners. I think this might have been a Adept Knight name, but I don't know whether we'll be keeping any Adept Knights, so no guarantees. And the Crimson Tide. Alright, lovely. You guys can stick around, and you know what? We can name a few other units of Blood Dragon vets. I don't think I have anything specific for Blood Dragon vets, but why not? The Exsanguinators, and that did indeed fit. And I'm just looking at which names would fit in Aberash's army and which ones wouldn't, because some would and some wouldn't, obviously. It can be the Circle of Blood, and eventually we'll upgrade these guys to an Inner Circle unit, though I'm sure that will take, well, let's say, quite the while to do. And how about the Night Riders? Possibly with a K, possibly without a K, as the comment dictated. We'll just go with that. It's implied, anyway, and pretty clear. Let us also do, I don't know, maybe one more. For a hero, I was gonna rename you anyway. Where's that rename button? There it is. A rename. Bathilda, damn you, you shall be Blooderson. And, oh, actually, you know what? That's a little on the nose. Let's German it up a little bit. Oh, I don't know if it's 2 T's or not. Oh, whatever. Blitzen? Blood, son of blood? Why not? I don't think a Blutterson would make sense. Well, it's not like I know anyway. Good enough. Good enough. And, hey. Did that actually change? I think it did. You just have to... yeah, okay, it's good. It's good. Now, you guys... I don't think this battle is really worth fighting, and I wanted to change these guys so we could auto-resolve it and maybe draw these guys into combat. On the other hand, there's a lot of them there. I could try to speed through this fight. I kind of want to see the Abyssal Revenant in action. You know what? Let's speed through this fight just so that... Yes. Ever laughing. Let's speed through this fight just so we could do that. You will... Oh, right. Upgrade you. Like so. And now go. And almost the entire army now has Vanguard deployment. Oh, we're not going to see the Abyssal Revenant, are we? They'll get destroyed by the Vanguard deployment long before he gets in there. I'd auto-resolve it, but I don't trust it. On the other hand, let's say low casualties. You know what? If nothing else, it'll make the next fight more difficult. If it... oh, it actually barely damaged any units. Well, it damaged the thralls, but that's fine. Let us... Don't heal up. I'd rather try to bait Gorok into a fight. You can go into... channeling stance, and then you can go into hidden encampment. So that possibly we could get one of these guys to attack the Abyssal Revenant. And even if not, we'll just attack all these guys right here next turn. Lovely. The Awakening, you have Port Upgrade, which is not very useful. Not going to spend the money on that. And hey, another Talisman of Preservation for our elites. Very nice. And hello. Armor gained. The Waterlogged Mail. Miscast chance reduction, free life leeching, passive cooldown, and award save. Quest issued Trident of Mathland. This is the item quest for the Abyssal Revenant. Well, that's one way to try him out, but until he has more units and those units are upgraded to Depth Guard, we can't quite do it. Now that that's done, Aberash, I think we're gonna jump you into another worthy foe fight and then destroy this army right after. We still have to get more Disciples of the Path after all, and though we can't recruit them at the current time. What's up next? Khorne's Savage Crusaders. We could level, but these guys are so high level that it doesn't really matter. Just want to double check though. Yes, fight or die, that's what I wanted. It's everything I want, and we can get another point in the Exotic Dead as well, why not? Gotta remember about Immortal Horror as well. But anyway, for now, let's fight some Khornates in the middle of the sea. What does this say? Oh, what does this say? And the fearsome warriors of Khorne have invaded the lands of Bretonnia, my lord. Perhaps we should ride out to meet their challenge. I've heard promising things of the Beast Fiends and their champion. I'll send word to our allies at Castle Drakenhof and the Awakening for aid. Gonna get aid from the Well, I guess we own the Awakening now, so that actually does make sense. Win the following battle, sure. And this gives us Lance of Shattered Keep, which is pretty meh. Also, this feels like it should be a blue item. I mean, I guess an unbreakable attribute is very decent for vampires, but is it better than other weapons we have? Actually, we're relatively light on weapons right now, so this should still work for some lords. If we have a lord that's more fragile, this could certainly go there. And, oh, this is a repeat of Heart Piercer for some reason. Oh well. We gotta fight them. Alright, I guess we're doing them in order. Alright, and ooh, that's a big boy. That's a very big boy. Looks like we got an exalted bloodthirster, and to face off against in the sky, that will be a heck of a duel. For Abarash, seems like something he'd enjoy. Gotta watch out for those skull cannons and blood shrines, and probably they'll have a bunch of reinforcements as well, which we're about to find out. Go.
Sons of Abarash, mistake not this act of glorious battle as charity for these pitiful mortals. Nay, the descendants of Gilead Lebrithon cower behind their tall walls while we ride to glorious combat. We must remind these cowards the opportunity to measure the merit of one is done through a test of arms. What a better opportunity could there be to test the might of our craft than against the servants of the Crone and the Beast Fiends? Show these worshippers of sloppy, casual violence that there is only one true path, that of the path, and slay them for their gross ignorance. Ride to battle. Prepare yourselves for a storm of blades and a torrential shower of blood to come.
Alrighty, here we go. The other battles this episode, or at least the previous two battles against the Witch Hunter armies, may have been a little bit too easy, but I'm willing to bet, at least judging by previous battles in this manner, that this one won't be. Away we go. Abarash is going to head on in with that big old spear of his, and he's going to, or is that a glaive? I couldn't even... doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What does matter is how effective it is. And we're still going to try out all the weapons, so away we go. The enemy Exalted Bloodthirster is floating around up here, and at the very least isn't a coward of a Bloodthirster and is willing to fight Abarash. Alright, and not much to say while these guys duke it out, though it looks like the Bloodthirster's down to half HP and Abarash still maintains his barrier. It also looks like while we get to move in with a few of our Disciples of the Path, our allied units have beat us to the punch and have joined the fray first. Drakenhof Templars, or Templar warriors, together with some Sky Reavers, have dropped down upon the pile of enemy bloodletters. Looks like the Bloodthirster is nearly done. We pop that sadistic snare on it, not because it's going to run, as it will just melt away, but rather to lower its melee defense by 24 and speed this up a little bit. Abarash has other things to kill, but he'll focus this thing down first. Alright, couple more hits I wager, and 786 HP. Come on, couple more times. And there we go. Like a comet to the ground, while the rest of its army is having a pretty bad day. Our Bloodkin Thrall Adept Knights, our Bloodkin Thrall, is that the full name of the thing? Yeah, it is. Good job, Ruinous. It only took however many episodes. To say that, oh one, alright, but it looks like we've managed to destroy most of the enemy units, though the Minotaurs of Khorne will be the last on the field here from the first army. A second army is moving in, filled with Beast Fiends, which are basically chaotic beastmen, I should say more chaotic beastmen, and looking pretty darn good as well. There we go, look at these guys. They look fantastic. Can't wait to rip them apart with our vampire hordes, but yeah. A little bit odd that Chaos doesn't have access to Beast Fiends, generally speaking. But it's probably something that CA will hopefully out eventually. They've also brought a couple of Jabberslights with them and are led by another Exalted Bloodthirster. Well, I hear Abarash likes killing Exalted Bloodthirsters, so, well, that's what he'll do. Speed it up a little bit and head towards that thing. Though it looks like this particular Exalted Bloodthirster wants no part of it and will actually try to escape. I think we got 15 more seconds until the cooldown from that sadistic snare is down, so we will give chase until it's ready to go. Big ol' army heading towards us. We're going to move the Knight Riders in the Circle of Blood, our elite Knight of the Paths, our elite Knights out. And they're actually going to peel away to go after some of these Centaurs out here. The Centaurs will get stopped in place by our Bloodkin Thrall Adept Knights. And this will allow our elites to move on in. Rather than chase the Centaurs around, and the Centaurs are going to get absolutely crushed over on this flank. Speaking of getting absolutely crushed, it looks like Abarash has finally caught up with the Exalted Bloodthirst with a little help from Leopold Harkon, our Drakenhof Templar friend here. And while Abarash needs no help, the two should be able to bring that Bloodthirster down without any problems. I'm going to continue seeing those Beastmen in action, or Beast Fiends, I should say, in action. Oh, well, we got a little bit of action from one of our hero friends as well. Drakenhof Templar champion on a skeletal manticore fighting against a Jabberslight. And I'm excited to see this because we haven't had a chance to get these guys in action ourselves yet, though we are most definitely working on it. And it looks like the Jabberslight is most definitely going to lose this one. Maybe not most definitely, they're actually about even. Especially with the Minotaurs coming in, but hey, we've got troops that can move in to help. The second Bloodthirster goes down, and it looks like there's a Prince... Oh, look, it's Prince Ograx. Cute. Yeah, Prince Ograx looking a lot different here than he does in the Archaon campaign, but also looking pretty darn fantastic. He is a Beast Fiend after all. And damn, that's a nice model. Stop praising the enemy, Ruinous. No. Alrighty, let's watch him get a few big ol' hits in. I could watch this model murder things all day. Alright, hey, don't you roll out of there, Ograx. Unfortunately, he is shaken and the rest of his army is in pretty bad shape. It looks like Abarash went in and brought down that Jabberslight and got to allow the Aspirant to face off against Ograx. I doubt that he'd be too much stronger than a Exalted Bloodthirster, and all of our units were around here already, so we didn't need to move Abarash in. But the battle is still not over. More reinforcements are arriving on the field as well. Few of the enemies might rally. And who do we have here? A Depth Guard Lord and a couple of Depth Guard champions. Not sure we're going to get any help from them here as they're deployed all the way here, but we can at least take a look at the Depth Guard Promethean Reavers. Alright, and those rotting Prometheans, I'll be very curious to see how effective these guys are. The models of the rotting Promethean mounts tend to be kind of a problem for units that use them, or at least so far that I saw from my own Aranessa campaign recently. They have a difficult time hitting other big models. It seems like some issue with their hitboxes, but we'll see. And ooh, those are not the only Reavers we got here. The Sea Serpent Reavers as well, which are Necropolis Knights equivalent. I like the standard Vampire Count's shields that they're using. Looking pretty good up there. Alright. I gotta get some of these of our own as soon as possible. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And ooh, are these Elder Reavers? Those are those are Elder Reavers. Those are some fantastic looking weapons they've got as well. I really got to get our Ordo Profundum troops up and running. Anyway, Abarash, well, looks like he spotted another Bloodthirster. He's just been knocking Bloodthirsters out of the sky all day, and he will be the first into combat here as the rest of the enemy army, by the looks of it, has been destroyed. Oh, or has it? Another unit of Beast Fiends remains alive. Well, I guess we're going to have to make them a little bit less so. Somebody catch these guys. And it looks like our allies will beat them to the punch, or beat us to the punch, our own units, and by hitting them a few times, but the Beast Fiends keep on running. Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, there's a Blood Shrine of Khorne back here. And yeah, we could watch Abarash fight, but you see him obliterate one Bloodthirster, you've seen him obliterate them all. Lovely that we get to observe units that we don't have in action as well. I really appreciate that aspect of these fights. Anyway, speaking of fights, looks like we've got a few interesting ones here. The enemies have some Blood Crushers who have smashed into the Circle of Blood here and actually managed to peel off about 15 to 20% of their HP. I mean, these are Blood Crushers, so they damn well should be threatening. And they've got a little bit of help from some Minotaurs of Khorne as well, but this is still something I'd wager that our elite circle will come out ahead on. The enemy is led by Terror the Tower. Terror the Tower? Okay. That is a simple name. Terror the Tower or Tower the Terror? Alright, well, the Knights of the Path are certainly proving they're worth banishing all these demons. We got some Marauders of Khorne moving in, but we got a slightly tougher battle over on this flank. I did decide to move some Bloodkin Thralls around to sort of get into the enemy's flanks, but the enemy decided to send some Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons and another unit of Blood Crushers. Of course, since all we have on this flank is 3 units of Bloodkin Thralls, they're going to suffer against the much more elite Blood Crushers there. And we're going to have to back them off. Fortunately, we were able to get Terrence over here. Wait, this isn't Terrence, this is Camille, whatever. Our Bloodkin Aspirant is what I'm getting at. We're able to get him over here, and he is keeping these guys up, dropping zombies all over the place to make sure that they take some hits and don't allow the Blood Crushers to, well, crush our poor Bloodkin. Gonna back off the damaged ones and make sure that they heal up and not crumble away. There was a Gore Bull in here, but it looks like Camel is able to handle him. The stats aren't too bad despite being a support unit. And it looks like Big Boy will be brought down while the enemy is stuck and dealing with our zombies. We got some Bloodkin Thrall Adept Knights moving in to help out, and let's see, Drakenhof Sky Templars moving in, all of our allies. And is this a 4th army? It's a 4th army. Oh, it's a never-ending armies here, but not to worry. That's another lord that Abarash has defeated. Terror the Tower is gone. And will drop. Very nice. At least this way Abarash's weapon matches a little bit his elite infantry. That makes sense to some degree. I wanted to see those Reavers in action. Well, at least we got to see them, even if we don't see them fight here. Oh, wait a second. Upguard Serpent Reavers, together with one of our units of Bloodkin, are chasing down or destroying a unit of Spawn of Khorne. I got confused as to what I saw there for a second because I'm used to the SFO version of Spawn of Khorne, which are just a single big ol' unit, and these guys are small enough to send flying by the Reavers, apparently. Alright, very nice. 4th army? I've honestly lost count of the number of armies that they've sent against us. Is getting kind of wrecked by our Ordo Profundum allies. Abarash is coming back into the fray once again himself. Ooh, watch some Elder Reavers fight as well. And Abarash will hunt down yet another lord. I've definitely lost count of the number of lords and elites that Abarash has knocked down in this particular battle. Promethean Krabby boys moving around. A little bit of help from the Ordo Profundum champion or lord down here. I'm pretty sure that's a champ. can once again rip more spawn of corn apart. Lots of cornate spawn here, right? Well, but soon it'll be, well, less so. Alrighty, and how we looking? Getting a charge in from our Bloodkin Thrall Knights as we try to knock out the last of the spawn. Abarash has dropped down on the enemy lord, but looks like they're shaken and exhausted and will soon be out of there as well. And now it's a simple matter of chasing off the enemy units and destroying those units that are unbreakable, like this demonic skull cannon, which is about to drop soon. There we go. Sorry to see you go, little skull cannon. They're such a fun unit, and damn are they effective, especially in SFO. I've been having a lot of fun using skull cannons in my Archaon campaign. Anyway, there we go. A heroic victory and an absolutely glorious battle. Just all of the Cornate armies in the world. Great to see those beast fiends. Ograx looked fantastic. All of our Profundum ally units look fantastic. Everything's fantastic, guys. Great mod. Great battle. I'm having a great day. Ooh, alright, there we go. The enemy just throwing absolutely huge numbers at us, and stack after stack after stack. Got decent amounts of help from both of the Ordos this time around as well, which was lovely to see. I was very happy to see the Promethean Reavers and the Serpentry, or Sea Serpent Reavers as well. Very nice, and ooh, 28k on the Circle of Blood. As soon as these guys got their name, they wanted to show that they were worthy of it, and did massive amounts of damage. Good for them. I'm also happy that Abarash got to duel and banish, I guess, so many enemy lords, or specifically the Exalted Bloodthirsters. Get a decent amount of cash as our reward, and we'll certainly take it. Release captives. And Dauntless for Abarash, a student, and there's that Lance of Shattered Keep. And I'm just curious. I'm curious whether it is in fact a copy of the same item that we already have that we're receiving again. No, it isn't. It just says Heart Piercer, but in reality it's this. It's Hexbill. You get a Whirl of Blades and a Cleansing Fire passive. Affects enemies in range all. Interesting. Though once again we lose a 20% ward save for this, gain a little bit in the way of armor piercing damage, lose a little bit of attack, but gain 2 passives. This thing is, Hackspell appears to be a sort of infantry mincing item. But we can actually see it. You know what, let's take it into battle at least once, because I want to see how it looks. We'll probably just try all the items at least once, just to watch him wield them. But generally speaking, since we use Abarash as a duelist rather than a infantry blender, it's probably not as valuable to have all of these infantry blending skills. But I guess we could send him in for at least one battle to blend some infantry, and just to try it out. I mean, why not? Let's max out the Exotic Dead for more ward save on all those units. And next, I guess we're going to start putting some points in Tenacity to max it out, or Wild-Eyed. I'm gonna have to go with Tenacity. We're nearly out of points on Abarash as well, which means it's basically the first Wanderer is not gonna happen. We should just make sure that we save enough points for Immortal Horror. And maybe we'll get the Champions of the Ordo Draconis, although 10% weapon strength is not all crazy valuable. Especially since we're not going to be using any of the monstrous sort of units from them in this army, most likely. And I mean, if we can get all Disciples of the Path, we'll get all Disciples of the Path, though I'm not sure that's actually likely, as it'll just take so long. Anyway, we have a decent bit of Valor for our trouble. What I wanted to do was upgrade these Bloodkin Thralls, or at least some of them, 2 Ordo Templarium units. Templarium whatever. Though with the cap low, seems not super likely. I guess if we were to upgrade a couple, like you for example. Oh, you're not a high enough rank, damn. Because we need more Ordo Templarium stuff in Anarch's army, but, well, I guess we'll have to keep the Thralls for now. He'll upgrade them eventually. The reason I wanted them to upgrade was to make this auto-resolve a little bit easier, but alas, not gonna happen. Alright, so fine. You can... I was hoping you could leech XP, but that's also, by the looks of it, not gonna happen. Whatever. Go on an Abaresh and auto-resolve this real quick. It'll probably damage our army a teensy bit, but it's also not worth fighting. We will take the... Take the money again. I know, we have 64k now, but it's gonna be gone in like a single turn worth of buildings, so... And, hey, yeah, there we go, another Warriors of the Path units. And we completed that, which means more martial valor. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We definitely needed that. And now we're free to attack more Imperial territories, as we can get that Witch Hunter threat climbing again, because we need that back up and running. I was just thinking, should we take the Silver Pinnacle? You know what we are going to do? Speaking of worthy foes, we're going to take Jarna Grund and raise a Blood Keep there. That'll be a difficult fight, I'm sure. And worthy of Abaresh. Speaking of Abaresh, give up your cave. I think it was 6 and 6 that we had to give up. I'm 90% sure. Alright, so I know I counted last time, but I gotta count again. So we're 12 units. We take out 4 knights, we go down to 8. And then we get 2 heroes, which will put us to 9, meaning we need to transfer 11 units, not 12. I had forgotten that we were sending a U out here. So then we transfer 5 and 6, okay.
The path stretches onward.
Transfer the Bloodkin Thralls and transfer, I don't know, the higher level of these units. Like so. Alright, so 5 and 6 is 11, right? 6, 5, 11, good. Hopefully I didn't miscount. You're going to head to the Worthy Foe encounter and then meet up with Anarch, who's going to take this army and head to Mount Gunbad. And ride to battle, sure. Stop that. What do we have here? Warrior Ascendant Gear, Arcane Forged Breastplate. Ooh, a new armor. That's nice. I like that. An area redirection. I like that as well. And melee defense plus 10 for the entire army. Ooh, we've got a good armor. A good armor. Indeed. Alright, we should try to prioritize that. What the heck is that? Ratborgs. Rat golems. Oh man, there's just so many new things and everything. It's crazy. Alright, well, that's exciting times. Anyway, you can move forward briefly. And Anarch, you're gonna need to head to transfer those units. And max out your army. Alright, so you're gonna take all these, you're gonna transfer all of these, leaving you with 19 and room enough for 1 more hero. Yes. Alright. And now we'll just have to slowly make sure that these guys all become Ordo Templariums, because we get Vanguard deployment on an Ordo Grandmaster army. It's going to take a while, but hey, we got more martial valor to play around with, at least for now. Here we go here. Can you go back into... I should have switched immediately. I guess he could have, but then... Oh well. Guess we'll have to build you next turn. Oh, we can't afford it because of the, we don't have the metal anyway. Alright. You're gonna keep following Abaresh. At least for now. And Abaresh, I'm gonna need you to go into an camp stance and heal up a little bit and maybe recruit some more of these guys. Of the Bloodkin Thralls, we'll need to transfer them to the next army. We're not going to spend the 2 turns to transfer these, and oh, we're basically out of Thrallians. You know what, I'll take care of that between the episodes, I think. Speaking of between the episodes, I think this is probably going to be the place to call this episode. There's a bunch of admin to do, but I think that will be boring, and I think we can leave that to next time. I'll take care of that, whether it be the recruitment or building, and to get as many units being built up as possible, win the armies that they need to be built up in, as we do want more armies on the field and doing things. Anyway, calling it here. Next time we advance into the Darklands, hopefully find and cast down Astrogoth before turning southward to the Conclave, where I'm sure sure we'll find a great fight. We'll probably do a couple more worthy foe battles, or possibly a quest battle or two, as we do have the Abyssal Revenant's quest. We just need to give him some units. We'll figure it out. More Blood Dragons to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.